Oh, Lordy, here we go again. All right, guys. The formula is once again up on jack stands, having only been home a couple of days because it just returned from getting the transmission rebuilt for $2,200. So, but while it was there, the nice guys at the training shop said, "Hey, we noticed there was a coolant leak." When I checked, I said, "Yep, sure is a coolant leak. And it looks like it's my water pump." So, we're going to have to change it. Luckily, that's about 4 years old. It's under warranty. I've already called the parts store. They've ordered in a replacement. All we got to do is bring this one in, and they'll give me the replacement. But to do that, I have to get the old one off. And to start that process, first thing I had to do was take the air induction assembly here off, the elbow, 10 yards, and the MAP sensor, actually the MAF sensor. And I'm proceeding now to start the disassembly. So the first thing after this we'll do is we've drained the coolant just by letting the radiator petcock, and then we'll take loose the upper and lower radiator hose and the heater hoses, get everything free of that, and then we'll try to get things like the coil loose and a couple other things that are in the way of getting the actual water pump out. And I'm going to be doing a lot of work from underneath as well, so that's the easiest way to do it. We'll also get this shroud off because we're going to have to drop the I don't know if you can see it, the fans down there. The fans are going to have to come out. Can't really see them, but I have to drop the whole fan assembly out, so it's kind of a pain in the butt, but we'll get it done. All right, we got the upper and lower radiator hoses off. You still got a rag. I recommend doing that. You remember the Opti is underneath here, the Opti spark distributor, so I'm trying to keep water off of it. And you also notice once you free these things up, you're going to have a whole lot more coolant coming out, so make sure you got a good catch pan under that petcock. And we'll get the heater hoses and the rest of that off of there and start working on actually getting the water pump itself free once we get some stuff out of the way. Okay, you can see we've already made a fine mess of things. You can see the water pump up there. Right about there. And see some of the hoses we got to take loose. Like this one. And this other heater hose, hold on. Alright, you can see under here now. Yeah, get a little better view. I don't know why this thing's not focusing. But you can see we've got another heater hose here and one here to get off, plus the ECT sensor lead has to come off. And then once we've done that, we can work on getting the air injection pump here free. We got to get that loose because that's in the way. And we'll have to get the serpentine belt free because it's in blocking a bolt, one of the back bolts to the water pump. So, but yeah, I can see from right here it looks like it has been leaking. So, all right, so let's get to it. And again, the Opti is right there. We're trying really hard not to get a bunch of crap all over it. All right, we got it off. There it is. There's the 3 bolts on the driver's side. One of them's actually a stud, the middle bolt. Right there. And there's the 3 on the passenger side. So too long and a short. And give you a look underneath here. All right, there we go. There's the Opti, and you can see right where it needs to go. I've already scraped off the gasket stuff, so it's good to go. I had to remove the wires, the spark plug wires you see there, to get that bracket bolt off so I could get the water pump off. And it was a mess, as you could see. Back soon. Okay, there's the new water pump, and you can see we've got the ECT sensor on, and I've transferred the gooseneck for the water inlet, or water outlet, and I used a tiny bit of very thin film of RTV, and not that I really need it because it's no ring seal on that thermostat, but it's on there, so we're going to get ready to put this thing back in. So here we go. Alright, just a little note here. I'm going to put the gaskets, of course, on the water pump on the face first. I've already prepared the surface on the block, scraped it, got the old gasket material off. But these are the Felpro gaskets. I don't like the paper gaskets that come with the water pump. I'll just keep those as backups, but I'm going to use a little bit of gasket sealant here. Just a little tack, just to keep them held on. So just a little tip there. And then I'm probably going to try to use the center bolts to hold it on. There are guide pins in the block that help hold this on as well. So and there's the splined drive shaft here. So should be all good. Here's a little trick. You see we're starting to get the water pump back on. One of the things is you've got to get that coupler lined up, that spline for the coupler to match both. And sometimes it means pulling this thing out a little bit and, you know, turning that spline in the water pump by hand. Easier to do that than the engine. But one of the things is just like you're fighting with that. How are you going to keep the water pump up? I like to just loosely attach the upper radiator hose here, because it'll hold it in place, keep it from falling on you. So just a quick little tip when you're doing the reinstall. All right, we're a little further along here. We got the water pump mounted back on. 6 bolts, crisscross pattern, 30 foot-pounds. I torqued it to make sure. Got the rest of the hoses back on, and we started putting the wiring back together. Before you do all that, though, I'll show you this. You see up there? Let me get a better view for you. That didn't help at all, did it? Okay. Right there. This thing in the middle of your screen, that's the air injection reaction pump. There's a bracket for it. That bracket's the first thing that goes on. It's also another reason why it's such a pain in the butt to deal with the water pump, because it actually hooks on on one of the brackets of the water pump. The middle bolt actually has a nut on it and threaded. A stud, really. You mount that up, and then you put your air pump back on. So you've got the ECT sensor hooked up, backed up. Heater hoses hooked back up. See, these are the spark plug wires. One of the things you're going to find out is when you're trying to put I'm having trouble with the camera, guys. I'm sorry. Oh, where is it? All right. Right here. There. You're going to have to take off one of these middle wires here to get to the bolt to mount, to get one of the bolts for the bracket for this air pump. I usually just pop this one. You're not seeing it. I usually just pop this one off right here, and then I can get to the bolt. But we're all back up together here. Next thing I'm going to do is, you can see I still got a bare radiator here, so I'm going to put the fans back on and get to buttoning this thing up. So we're looking okay here. Checking all the routing. I put a new serpentine belt on. Kind of see that here, because the old one had coolant all over it. Try to reuse the original routings as much as I can with things. So I could use little mounting holes for things like the ECT sensor wire and the IAC wire that's up top, goes into the air horn there. So there you go. See what it looks like part the way through here. We're getting close. Job is done. Take a look under here. Look good. What we want to see. Everything's back together. Okay. Here's the deal. We had one other little minor problem, and that was apparently in the process of me putting the water pump back on and getting parts back together, I had dropped the ECT sensor, which apparently was enough to make it go bad. Well, when the ECT sensor isn't good, your fans don't come on. So this thing was dangerously close to overheating with a new water pump. So we rectified that situation. I've got a video on changing the ECT sensor, so you can go check that out if you want. It's not hard. But it was a lot easier doing it from under the car when it was still on jack stands. So knock wood. I'm gonna go find some wood. We're okay. So I'm just going to watch the next few days. I already took it on a little test cruise, about 30 minutes, half freeway, half stop and go, and it did okay. The fans come on. That whining here is the air injection system, so that's working. So hopefully we're done. Watch for the next video. It's not going to be so much working on stuff because I didn't do the work. But we'll discuss the transmission, the $2,200 transmission we talked about. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'm out.